Aloha, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Coffee with Cory. I'm your host, Cory Smith, here to discuss some NC State football versus Florida State today. Obviously, as you can tell, out here in Maui, getting prepared for the Maui Invitational next week, but we are still going to discuss some NC State football leading up to tonight's game. Obviously, a very big one for NC State and Florida State. Both these teams looking to get to bowl eligibility. NC State, look, you're coming off of an embarrassing game against Miami on the road, but this team has been very good at home so far this season. So wanted to give my predictions. We completely forgot to do a predictions article this week, so apologize for that. But Michael still has his matchups. We've still put together plenty of stuff leading up to this game. But being a Friday, being that I was traveling out of the country, well, not technically out of the country, but 5 hours away in terms of time difference and everything like that, it's been a little bit of a different week. So forgot to put that article out, but let's do the priorities here. For NC State, you're going against a Florida State team that has been very good at stopping the pass. So for NC State, I think this is a game where you really have to be able to establish the run. This is a team that's able to stop the run, but given the fact that you have Hollywood Smothers back, given the fact that you have Duke Scott that played really well this past time around, NC State has a good chance to be able to put together the run game, get something going on the ground. Florida State, a team that really, again, I mentioned earlier, like they've been able to stop the pass, but for NC State, I think being able to open things up with the run early on, Hollywood Smothers against teams at home has been really, really good so far this season. And NC State has averaged 200 yards per game on the ground, and it's 5 wins so far this season at home. So, again, you're going to have to be able to, or so far this season. So you're going to have to be able to get the run going. I think Hollywood Smothers, this is a big opportunity for him coming back home. Look, he's still pushing for 1,000 yards. So to try to get there this season, you're trying to put together, look over 1,300, 1,400 total yards. I think this is a big opportunity for him coming back home and the offensive line to be able to prove itself. You get, it appears you're going to have Anthony Carter Jr. back. You have Spike Souls Jr. back this past week. You'll have both of them to be able to clear the way for him and Duke Scott. So I think this is a big opportunity for both of them to try to, both those running backs to try to get things going on the ground early on. And then I think as far as the rest of the offense is concerned, this is, number 2 for me is Justin Jolie needs to get going in this one. This is the defense that they're facing off with has been susceptible to allowing tight ends to be able to put together good points so far this season. And look, they're going to try to get shots down the field. You want to try to get those things going. But against this defense, it's been a good defense, not a great defense. And if you're going to open up the passing game, I think you have to find some short underneath routes to get going before you can find those deep shots down the field. So I think for a guy like Justin Jolie, this is a perfect opportunity for him to put something together. Maybe you still kind of throw some things at them with obviously Cody Hardy, also Dante Daniels. Like, do those guys get going in the passing game too? But I think Justin Jolie is somebody that is a key for me in this game. If he can get the ball in his hand, if they can get the ball in his hands a couple times, and he's able to kind of pick apart this defense a little bit, it's a perfect opportunity for him. And what will be his penultimate college football game inside of Carter Finley Stadium? Obviously, it is for a lot of different people, but Justin Jolie is somebody that has a lot to prove going into these last 2 games. If you want to continue to prove that you're one of the best tight ends in the country, he's going to have to put those types of things together going into this game. And then last thing for the defensive side of the football, the defense, the biggest thing for me going into this game is really just limiting what Florida State is able to do from a running standpoint. This is going to be Tommy Castellanos, a guy that currently leads the team right now in rushing for them going into this game, or actually second on the team in rushing going into this game. You want to be able to keep him in the pocket, force him into tougher situations. You want to force him into passing situations going into this game because he's a guy that on the road so far this season, Florida State has been 0-3 on the road so far this season. A big reason for that is Tommy Castellanos not being able to get this offense jump-started with his legs or with his arm so far this season. In 3 true road games, 2 passing touchdowns to just 3 interceptions. So those types of numbers are not going to win you a lot of games. For NC State, you've got to be able to force him into some of the situations and try to make the most of those. We've seen NC State better at home when it comes to forcing turnovers, better at home when it comes to limiting what teams can do on the ground. Obviously, you go back to the Virginia game, that was a little bit of a different story. And then Georgia Tech is a team that relies heavily on being able to rush the football. So for NC State, it's about limiting what Tommy Castellanos is able to do going into this game, running the football, and then again, forcing him into passing situations. If you can get those types of things going for NC State, you have a chance to be able to contend on the defensive side of the football and give your offense more opportunities to stay ahead, play with a lead instead of playing from behind and feeling like you have pressure on you each and every single time they step out there on the field. Now, as far as my prediction for this one, I think NC State wins this game. I think this is a chance for NC State to come out, get to bowl eligibility, prove yourselves, and try to get to potentially 7-5 on the season if you can beat both Florida State and UNC to close the year out. This is an opportunity for them to come out, get the offense going early on. Again, nighttime in Carter Finley Stadium. We've seen what it's done so far this year, save for Virginia Tech. But you go back to the last time out against Georgia Tech. This is a game where NC State, you have the crowd behind you, you have another sold-out atmosphere, and you have a big game opportunity to be able to prove yourselves again. I think C.J. Bailey plays well in this game. I think Hollywood Smothers, again, gets over 100 yards in this game and is able to maybe break off a touchdown or two in this one. And then, on the defensive side of the football, bend but don't break again. You get enough opportunities to give your offense a chance to be able to win this game. And I'm going to go – I'm still trying to figure out exactly where I want to go with this one, but I think NC State ultimately wins this one 37-31. I think this, again, they clearly are able to clear that 4.5-point edge that I believe is still the margin so far going into this one. But for NC State, you go out, you do all the things that you need to do on an offensive side of the football. The defense finds a way late to be able to give you a win. That's what's happened in all of these games, particularly at home for NC State. You go all the way back to UVA. You go back to Wake Forest. You go back to even Georgia Tech, where, yes, they won by double digits, but you needed a late stop, and this defense has been able to supply that. So is the defense able to do that again in this game? I think so, and I think NC State ultimately wins this game 37-31. I just realized I went the entire video without even actually drinking any of my coffee. So mahalo to everybody for listening, and we'll talk to you again soon.